What's happening, everybody? It's Sean with Reactions to the Classics. And today I got a reaction to Wet, 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 their top 10 songs, brought to us by a friend, longtime supporter, and patron of the channel, Richard. Thank you, Richard. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the patrons who make this thing go. If you'd like to support us in any way, check out that Patreon link below or the patron link on the end screen. We couldn't do it without the patrons. Also, if you'd like to support us, one-time donation, one-time reaction, check out our Buy Me a Coffee page down below. Well, I've never even heard of this group, but Richard said, I'll do a top 10 of Scottish pop band Wet, Wet, Wet. I saw some people call them the Wets as well, who were successful in the late 80s and 90s. They're a Scottish soft rock band formed in 1982. They scored a number of hits on the UK charts and around the world in the 80s and 90s. Best known for their 1994 cover of the Trogs' 1960s hit Love Is All Around, which was used on the soundtrack to the film Four Weddings and a Funeral. They were named Best British Newcomer at the 1988 Brit Awards, and they have 7 studio albums. So if you've never been with us before, the music won't be in the video, but it will be at the Vimeo link below. So click on that, follow along with this. Let's go to number 10. You see it below. We have Sweet Surrender from the Holding Back the River album in 1989, their 3rd studio album. Lead single, 6 in the UK, 1 in Ireland, 7 in Australia. I'm from the US. You're not going to see any chart stuff from the US except for 1, and it didn't go very high. All right, I'm going to have the lyrics up as always. Thanks again, Richard. All right, Sweet Surrender. Nice chilled song, good vocals, nice arrangement, very much of the time. The classic song, like he saw her and his heart surrendered. Don't you believe that? It surrendered, he's telling her, and she's not with him at the time, and he can't take it. But it's not in a desperate way. It's more in a pleading way that's not creepy, if that makes sense. So good choice for number 10. Next up at number 9, we go with Somewhere Somehow from Picture This, 1995. Their 4th studio album, 4th single from that album, went to 7 in the UK and Ireland, 3 in Scotland. All right, Somewhere Somehow. A little more soulful delivery in parts from Marty Pello. Good guitar work from Graham Duffin, who also does production, just giving these guys a shout out. Graham Clark is on the bass. Tommy Cunningham on the drums, which, are a secondary thing here. And then the keys are Neil Mitchell, so just an FYI. But I thought Marty, you felt a little soul in there for a little bit there. He got back into kind of the softer stuff, but I like that song. And next up, we have an absolutely massive hit, Love Is All Around, from the Four Weddings and a Funeral soundtrack in 94, and also the Picture This album in 95. It's a song first recorded by the English rock band The Trogs, released as a single in October of 1967. It was a top 10 hit in both the US and UK, so if you're a certain age, you might know that version. If you're in the US, Reg Presley, leader of The Trogs, wrote it in about 10 minutes, inspired by a TV broadcast of the Salvation Army band Joy Strings performing an evangelical song titled Love That's All Around. He famously spent some of his songwriting royalties on crop circle research. For this version, Richard Curtis approached him about recording a cover song to the soundtrack for the 1994 film Four Weddings and a Funeral. They got to pick between 3 things: this song, Can't Smile Without You by Barry Manilow, and I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. Singer Marty Pello related that decision to pick Love Is All Around was an easy choice because we knew we could make it our own. The song, which has a different introduction from the Trogs version, number 1 in the UK for 15 weeks. The joint 3rd longest UK chart reign of all time, beaten only by Frankie Lane's I Believe, which did 18 weeks at the top during the 1950s, a different world, right? And Bryan Adams' song from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Everything I Do It For You, which was 16 weeks in 1991. With Drake's One Dance also stayed at the top for 15 weeks in 2016. Can we just pretend like it didn't? Love Is All Around spent a further 20 weeks in the UK Top 10 75. Throughout its chart run, some radio stations banned the song, as many listeners were fed up of hearing it for so long. The band themselves eventually took the decision to delete the record from sale, which is insane. As of the year I'm filming this, 2025, it sold 1.91 million copies in the UK, making it the country's best-selling love ballad of all time, including download and physical sales, in front of Robin Hood's song, Everything I Do It For You from Bryan Adams. It went at 1.87 million copies, so it's very close. Only 41 in the US. It's kind of crazy. 1 in tons of countries, and 1 for year end in a bunch of countries as well. So massive hit. I don't think I'm going to know this song. I mean, it went to 41 in the US. I doubt it, but I guess it's possible. All right, Love Is All Around. If you're of a certain age, you probably never want to hear that song again since it was so oversaturated. You guys know how that goes. But it's a great song. I've never heard it. In the first verse, I thought, I know this song. Not this version. I thought maybe I know the Trogs version, but I don't. But a fantastic performance all the way around. That is a great song. Next up, we're going to rewind a little bit further back. We're going to Broke Away from Holding Back the River in 1989. The 2nd studio album went to 31 in the UK, 16 in Ireland. It was the 3rd single off this album. All right, Broke Away has an interesting soundscape. I couldn't quite narrow it down to what I think it is, but it has an interesting soundscape, but a good song. I don't really know what it's about. I mean, obviously I was reading the lyrics as I was singing it, and I was reading them several times. I mean, broke away from the chains, I guess whatever you want them to be. All right, at number 6, we're going to rewind all the way back to the debut album in 1987, Popped and Sold Out with Sweet Little Mystery. 5th single, went to 5 in the UK and became an international hit, entering the top 10 in Belgium, France, Ireland, Netherlands, and New Zealand. It is their second biggest hit globally, with the cover, of course, of Love Is All Around being their most known song. It endured widespread criticism, and the group was later sued for copyright infringement by Van Morrison. The group received further criticism for similarity to John Martin's song of the same name from 1980. Both John Martin and Van Morrison received co-writer credits for the song eventually. In the years following the release, the reason why they got that widespread criticism, some people started calling them Scottish pop robbers for using lyrics from Van Morrison's A Sense of Wonder. Morrison sued the band. Lead singer Marty Pellow stated they used 2 lines from that song to pay homage to him. Van the Man was a big influence on us. Yeah, I guess they didn't care, but I would not call them thieves. If it's one song and they were doing it to pay homage, there's some thieves in music, a.k.a. Jimmy Page. This is not thievery. All right, just some catchy 1987 pop goodness there, right? Not a lot to the lyrics, but this sounds like 1987. They did a really good job here. Catchy, all of that good stuff. We're going to stay on this album as we enter the top 5 with Wishing I Was Lucky. This was the lead and debut single, first single ever released, number 6 in the UK, 10 in Ireland, reached the top 20 in Belgium and the Netherlands. While in the US, it became the first of 2 songs. Remember, the other one is Love Is All Around, peaking at number 58. Number 1 in Zimbabwe. Why do I tell you that? I just found it incredibly interesting. Supposedly, this song was recorded for only 600 pounds. All right, Wishing I Was Lucky. Also very catchy. I actually like the previous song a little bit more than this, but it's about a friend of his is writing him and telling him there's a corporate job open, basically, because this guy's making more money, and Marty's, he's probably a young man at this point, and kind of just scared to take that jump, wishing he was just lucky and would fall into making more money. Doesn't know if he wants to take that chance. So I think a lot of us have gone through that in our youth, which is a long ways away from me. All right, we got 4 songs left. We got Shed a Tear from Greatest Hits into Part 1 in 1993, written by the band and produced by the great Nile Rodgers. 22 in the UK, 25 in Ireland. All right, my man is heartbroken. She was talking in her sleep and realized that, she doesn't really love him. So he's feeling that pain and going through that. You feel the emotion in him. So it's well arranged, and harmonies in there coming in, helping him out. Good job. And next up at number 3 on Richard's top 10 wet, wet, wet songs, we got Goodnight Girl from High on the Happy Side in 1992. 3rd single, second of the band's 3 UK number 1 singles. The first being a cover of the Beatles with a little help from my friends, but the only one to be self-penned. It also gave them their 3rd Irish number 1 single after With a Little Help from My Friends and Sweet Surrender. Reached the top 10 in Belgium and the Netherlands. Goodnight Girl. Little throwback to almost a 70s sound in here. Really, really well done. Just kind of saying we're going to keep stuff between us. The whole rest of the outside world doesn't need to know what we have, and some other little difficulties in there. But I like the arrangement. The emotion of the vocal is really well done. Like I said, almost a 70s throwback. All right, we got 2 songs left. Number 2, we got Temptation from the Popped and Sold Out album, their debut, remember, back in 87. 4th and final single from that album, 12 in the UK, 8 in Ireland. 3 versions of the song have been released. The original album version contains a longer middle 8th than the single version, which also contains the expletive Don't Waste My Effing Spirit, although he says the word. The single version is this edited to Don't Waste My Angry Spirit, and was also the version played on radio. The radio edit version is also used in End of Part 1, their greatest hits. I pulled the album version because that's what I always do, so that's what we're going to hear. So cover your ears, boys and girls, in the bad part. All right, Temptation. Very catchy, very well done, extremely well produced. Everything off this first album is extremely well produced. They were going for a sound and a vibe, and they capture it very, very well. The arrangements are very full. The musicianship is very full on here, so it's produced quite well. Obviously, you got to have the voices, and they have it. All right, drum roll for number 1. Same album, debut album, 1987. Angel Eyes, in parentheses, Home and Away. 3rd single, 5 in UK, 9 in Ireland. Top 5 hit in Belgium, the Netherlands, and New Zealand. The lyrics in the chorus make reference to 2 Hal David and Burt Bacharach compositions, Walk On By and The Look of Love, and quote an entire verse of the Squeeze single, Heartbreaking World. Some later issues of this single, including all of the U.S. issues, accordingly credit the Squeeze lyricist Chris Difford as a co-author. All right, number 1 on Richard's Wet, Wet, Wet top 10, we got Angel Eyes. Wow, what a vocal performance by Marty. The best vocal performance on this top 10. That was fantastic. Really well done. The production's great. The instrumentation's rich. I mean, they really put it on this song. So I think it's a really good choice for number 1, which of course we'll take in my favorite tracks. Pretty simple. The top 3 songs, I agree with Richard a lot. Angel Eyes, Temptation, Goodnight Girl, and Love Is All Around, which Richard might not think should be up this high because it's a cover. Might be sick of it like probably everyone else who's listening on his side of the world. But super enjoyed that, guys. Never even heard of them. Just another artist I've never heard of that's big in a lot of other areas of the world. And us in the U.S. miss out on, but Richard does a great job of bringing them to us. So give us a thumbs up if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button down below. What else would you have on this countdown, or what would you have at number 1? Answer those questions for me in the comments below. And until next time, guys, I will see you.